Uh-oh. Well, this should be quite a spectacle.
Making his way to the ring from Uganda, weighing in at 350 pounds, Kamala.
That we have a very bold and vibrant president in Joe Biden. I'm not going to engage in that hypothetical because Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election. Not only is he absolutely authoritative in rooms around the globe, but in the Oval Office. And I can tell you, this is someone who is tireless in terms of working on behalf of the American people. The way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated. Gratuitous.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Welcome to Unsanctioned.
Booty, 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 booty.
I spy with my little eye. Booty! Hold on. What? Okay.
I think we're certainly going to see consistency in terms of the values and the direction. Obviously, she has been a part of this historically effective administration.
Kamala Harris's record with regard to the border is a disqualifier when it comes to Nevada and for Arizona. You look at her record being soft on crime is a disqualifier in Georgia, and you take a look at her radical embrace of the Green New Scam is a disqualifier in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And so as you look all the way around the country, not only does Kamala Harris inherit that Joe Biden record of failure, but she has her own very radical leftist ideology from California that she brings. And so Joe Biden may have been renting some of that far leftist space, but Kamala Harris is the real deal.
That's right. Can you imagine being in a room where Kamala Harris points to you and says, this is the smartest guy in the room? And she's talking about Joe Biden. How bad are you when Joe Biden's smarter than you in a room? Yeah. I mean, that's pretty bad. Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Unsanctioned America. I'm school board member John Arguello, my great friend here, Citizen Tom, and we are about to have a great show for you tonight. We have a ton of stuff to talk about, all cool stuff, of course. We had a very sad week over the past couple of weeks, just with the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. But we are looking to move forward, drive home the elections. This is a big development. That's not the only thing that you have to be sad for. Now Democrats are sad too, right? Democrats are sad that they lost their figurehead, which was Joe Biden. And he's more like a hobby horse type of figurehead than a real figurehead. But nonetheless, Joe Biden is out of the picture. He gave up. He threw in the towel, and so on. So let's look at our headlines. We're going to go through the headlines really quick. Then we'll say our prayer, and then we'll get right down to the show. Okay, this week, Kamala fit to lead? A lot of people are asking that question, whether she's actually fit to lead based on what we saw in that video. No. She lied to the American people for at least a year, telling us that Joe Biden was tip-top, razor-sharp shape, and clearly he was exposed in that debate with Donald Trump where he was decimated. He threw in the towel. It reminded me of that old-time fight, hence the headline, No Mas, when the fighter gives up at ringside. It's just destroyed. Mayor Booty says more of the same. And I'm not sure that America wants to hear that. What we have to look forward to in a Harris presidency is what Joe Biden did, right? We don't want to hear. Yeah, more of the same is not what we want to hear, right? You're saying that you didn't learn anything from that experience? Wow, that's pretty bad. So then Clinton Soros versus Obama, right? I mean, there's a big power struggle in the Democrat Party. Who is going to control the Democrats? Is it going to be the Clinton school or the Obama school? We have Grilled Cheatles finally resigns. After offering Trump up to the liberal hate gods, she finally resigned. She finally had a sense of I guess, a feeling of dignity that she wanted to go out with some dignity or something. I don't know. She was being brutalized by both sides of the aisle for letting the president have an assassination attempt come so close. She should have resigned the same day, practically.
Yeah.
And before that, we're going to talk about here. I lost my place here. Kamala Harris has the delegates already. How did she line up the delegates so quickly? It's almost like democracy does not matter when it comes to Democrat primaries, right?
Yeah.
And the media is on suicide watch after apparently drinking their own Kool-Aid for years. Representative Crane points out the roof, which is too dangerous apparently for Secret Service to secure. Milwaukee's not psyched about Harris 2024.
No.
While JD
Why
Vance,
would they be?
Yeah, why would they? JD Vance gets a huge reaction at his first rally, solo rally, nonetheless. We got a lot of stories going on. 3,000 potential illegal aliens on the way to the U.S. trying to get into the country before Trump becomes president. It's crazy. That's crazy. A caravan of 3,000 on their way to cross the border while they have it welded open before Trump becomes elected. And Governor Newsom goes to war with the homeless as he vies for potentially a VP nod.
Yeah, it looks like that's what this is.
To impress his former Californite.
Yeah.
And more on this episode of Unsanctioned America. Stick with us. Let's say a quick prayer and then we'll get to these awesome stories. Lord, we're truly grateful to you to live in a country where we can have a show like this where we can talk about it. We're grateful to you for protecting Donald Trump. We pray for the family that fell victim, that lost a loved one, a man, a true hero of this country who sacrificed his life to protect his family, and the 2 other victims who were wounded. We pray for their quick recovery. We pray for the solace for the family that lost their loved one. And we pray for the president. We know that there's nothing more inspiring than a man who is abused, beaten, criticized, ridiculed, put through the ringer, and then for him to throw his fist in the air and scream, fight, fight, fight for your country nonetheless. It really tells us what kind of person, what kind of man of character Trump is. And it does, in my opinion, follow the example that you set for us, where you were disgraced, by the people, by your family members, and by people who were supposed to believe in you, and you were abandoned and left on a cross to die for us. So we're watching, it seems like we're watching that happen. Everybody who loves this country is being sacrificed and martyred. So, Lord, help this community come together, this country come together, this state come together, and do the right thing. In your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's get into the show. What do we got first? What do we got first? I'm going to keep sharing.
All right, so John, you know the big news, and everybody talked about it.
Yep.
It was that Biden quit. He gave up. He's out. He dropped out of the presidential race after the Democratic revolt. The Democrats didn't want him. There was at least 30 of them that went to Capitol Hill and demanded that he get out of this race. This was following that disastrous debate, and he says it's for the best interest of the country, but I'm even questioning whether he knew that he quit, that he even sent this out. But anyway.
Okay, so there's a ton of speculations, right, about the actual memo that he sent. There's speculation about how much he knew or how involved he was with that decision.
Yeah.
And there was even speculation about whether or not he had died. We heard some of those rumors going on, right?
Yeah, no one saw him for 9 days, right?
Yeah, but for one thing is certain. Okay, that was not a live video of the president delivering that message of him abdicating his installed presidency.
Yeah.
Right? That was absolutely not live. I watched it. I did a guest spot on a podcast with Jose Castillo while we were watching that live, and absolutely, I was watching it. I couldn't believe that they would have it. Number one, it was terrible. Yeah. Right? Here he is, 9 days of rest. Nobody has seen him, and then he delivers a state to the nation. He's not looking into the camera. If you haven't seen the video, you got to go look at it. It's creepy. He's not looking in the camera. He's looking off to the side. The camera's straight at his nose, and he's mumbling and bumbling through it. It's pretty bad. I thought it was pretty bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that he wasn't able to deliver a live message to the American people about you leaving office?
Yeah.
Terrible.
That's what makes it even worse, that you hear things from Kamala Harris and the others in the Democrat Party and saying he was sharp. He's on top of things. He demands respect when he walks into a room. I mean, come on. But this statement was released. supposedly he wrote it where he says it has been the greatest honor of his life to serve as your president. And I believe that 100% because he was trying to run for president since the 80s. But anyway, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Well, not really. I mean, there's a lot of people calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked. But anyway, about a half hour later, he waited a half hour before he followed up on X endorsing Kamala Harris to replace him at the top of the party's ticket. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. Yeah, I don't believe he wrote that. I'm sorry. No. But many Democrats came out and endorsed her too right away, like the Clintons. There they are, those wonderful folks, and Soros's son. Went ahead and endorsed Kamala Harris right away. But, John, one prominent Democrat did not, and that was Barack Obama. He said he doesn't endorse Kamala Harris. He says that Dems will pick an outstanding nominee. Now, he didn't personally say that he didn't endorse Kamala Harris. He just didn't come out and do it. But he said he's going to wait for the convention, and what he had to say, John, was... hold on a minute, where is it? Yeah, this was his first statement. He said they're gonna pick an unnamed outstanding nominee for the party's ticket.
I mean, it is.
He was joined by Nancy Pelosi in not immediately backing Kamala Harris, but Pelosi went ahead and endorsed her, I think, like a little bit later on. But Obama did say we will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead. So this is very interesting that...
they gave up on her.
Yeah, Obama still hasn't endorsed her. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, John?
Well, I think that he was offended that he wasn't in control of the decision. Right? Yeah. And that, okay, so it's not me. I'm the leader of this party. I'm the leader of this party. And the Clintons jumped on it, right? They snagged her up and they ran with her. And Obama apparently wasn't the chief decision maker. And so I think that that's what happened, that it was just a matter of him being kind of butthurt over it, right? No pun intended. But, he was just kind of... that's what it was. And
I thought he just got butthurt over Big Mike, but,
Well, I didn't say that. You said that. I think you said it. I said no pun intended. But nonetheless, it was obviously something that had happened. There's some internal struggle going on between who controls the party.
And, I mean, that's been talked about before, that there is some internal squabble between the Clintons and the Obamas. And, it's interesting to see if that's true. I wouldn't doubt it because they both have huge egos. So
I think that's clear as day, right? Yeah, they're struggling, and one of the reasons that you would assume that Obama is the leader of the party for the Democrats, right? Like he's the main guy, he's the number one guy, right? He's their former champ and whatever. But the truth is that Biden was so bad that just the association may have brought him down a notch, right? So he might be going through a humbling situation right now where he's not the leader of the party. He's not the number one anymore.
Yeah, and you have to imagine that Hillary Clinton is very jealous that Kamala, even though they went out and endorsed her, I'm sure she's very jealous that she never reached that pinnacle, that presidency that she thought she was going to get. That she has no control, that they're irrelevant within the Democrat Party right now. I mean, and the Clintons is a long time ago. I mean, think about it. There's a whole generation that came up that didn't live through the Clinton presidency. So
I know, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah,
for us, right?
Yeah.
But you're right, 100% right. That it's crazy to think about, but at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. If I were a Democrat, I'd want them both out.
Yeah.
There has to be somebody who is normal. You can't have a guy. It's like all of them have like this deep-seated controversy, right? Like deep-seated. It's not like regular. It's not like something. normal. Like with Obama, you had whether he was born in the United States, whether he's actually gay. Even Joe Biden, in all seriousness, Joe Biden made the insinuation during their debate when they were running in the primary against one another. Yeah. So Joe Biden made the insinuation that he was gay. He was saying that he took an AIDS test, and he was like, ask Obama. He took an AIDS test, right? I mean, so like the insinuation was there, purely intentional. And, and then with Hillary, you have the fact that she's like this, murderous, villain, baby blood drinker. And so, you got to get somebody who people can believe in. Yeah. Like this America, this actual America, not this, brutal America that these Democrats have turned it into.
Yeah, exactly. So the media, John, they were losing their proverbial crap over Biden dropping out. Van Jones cried on the air. Jen Psaki was struggling for words. And, we do have a couple of clips here. We do have a few clips.
You know what my favorite videos are? Or I think some of my favorite videos are those of people crying during the election, during Trump's election. Like those are
when
great.
He won, yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, when Biden won, I didn't shed a tear. I wasn't I wasn't saying I was going to move to France.
I wasn't happy, but
I wasn't happy, of course not. But I mean, come on now. Yeah. So these people are ridiculous. Now let's look at the new wave of meltdown videos.
Like when your grandpa, you got to take the keys, and everybody, you got to take his keys. You got to take his keys. You got to. And he's fighting, and everybody's so frustrated. And then you finally get the keys back. And then you just cry. Because this is somebody that you love. This is somebody that you care about. This is somebody who was there for you. This is somebody, you wouldn't be here without him. And you have to take something from him. Now, this is not, this politics is politics. But this is a human moment. For one of the
and then we have this one.
And I love what he's done for the country. He had authenticity and touch, whether you saw it or not,
and
but
touch.
everything about him, even sometimes the stutter and the bumbling was part of the touch, part of the sort of empathic, very loving, very clear-eyed touch that he had that allowed him and enabled him to be an effective president. But all of that turned against him after the debate for all the reasons that we discussed. And he would say, no time to complain about it. Let's move on. It's go time.
Yeah.
Man, really? Come on. Can't anybody be honest? Is there any Democrat in the world that can be honest? Is there? I mean, is it like you're like you register and then they tell you, oh, by the way, you're no longer allowed to be honest? Because this is ridiculous. The effective president are every aspect. Listen, Obama said it best. Do not underestimate Joe Biden's ability to F things up. That's what Obama said about his own vice president. You got to believe it because it's 100% true. And he, everything that he touched, just like some of these local guys, right? Everything that they touch, they turn into number two. That's just how it goes. Yeah. So don't let them touch it. Don't let them touch it. And now you have somebody who's possibly as bad as Biden and Kamala Harris. Everything that let's look. Everything that she's touched, right? The border.
Yes.
Number two, right? What else is she in charge in? That's it.
Yeah. She was the border czar. She was the border czar, and they filed a motion to impeach her, I think, today.
Did they really?
Yeah.
She deserves it, man, because it's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible that they would even consider her for president. I mean, you got. I guess that's the number one thing. You got to be mindless. You got to have zero morals. You got to be able to lie like nothing else. Geez, I mean, come on.
Yeah, she's a real. Hold on, somebody was saying something.
Are they hearing? Is the sound off? What is going on?
It was a confusing message. It was said, check your sound and sound okay. So I guess I don't know.
Sounds okay or not? Is the sound okay or not?
I mean, which one is it? Come on now. Let me know.
You guys got to tell us what the goal is.
Yeah, let me know. We are using new equipment. We do have a new mixer. It sounds great on our end. I mean, we sound absolutely amazing on our end. So
sound is good.
Yeah.
All right, good. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you. All right, so before we move on to Across the Nation, and we have a huge section of Across the Nation tonight. It's a lot more than our news section, but we're going to hear this important message from President Trump and the MAGA movement.
If you thought Joe Biden was radical, just wait until you get to know Kamala Harris. She's dangerously liberal.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. You know, for far too long, the status quo thinking has been to believe that by putting more police on the street, you're going to have more safety. And that's just wrong.
You're confident this border's secure?
We have a secure border. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
Abolish ICE. Yeah. Is that a position that you agree with?
Listen, I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE, and we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's new darling of the party. She 60 Minutes this weekend proudly calling herself a radical, and she's promoting policies like saying that every single carbon emission in the country, every car, should be eliminated within the next 11 years, everything from a 70 to 80% tax rate. Do you agree that she could possibly, in this ideology of the socialist left, could splinter your party?
No, you know, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I love the little cackle at the end. They included that. They are so great at what they do. I mean, really, they are.
I mean,
amazing.
you can't. These are some things that are I think they're important to. There's always like something off. You know, like when there's something off on somebody, right? Like you can tell right away. There's something off. Somebody's creepy. We were just talking about a school board candidate who they're like, it's like they're creepy, right? Like there's absolute this thing.
There's
about
different
creepiness.
phases about this individual.
Yes, either they look like a thug, or they look like a child, or they look creepy, right?
Yeah.
It's never like normal.
No.
I mean, and she's like, there's something off when she answers questions. It's just very inhuman almost.
Yeah. That's like someone faking it. You know, she's
trying
trying
too hard. Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, this week, Secret Service Director Cheeto, she got grilled, absolutely roasted during this House panel over Trump's assassination attempt. And this video, fair warning, there is a curse or two thrown out in this video, but
it's not us.
Not us.
Understand.
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
No, thank you. That's the way my son
yes
says no
or
thank
no?
you
Was
when
it
I
a
told him to say
colossal
no
failure
thank
is
you.
the question, yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible...
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure, yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable, yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent, yes or no?
I have always been...
Yes or no? You didn't want to answer the question. We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political, yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Oh.
That's bullshit.
Well,
so, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to...
Technically, I think she folded her speech into a paper airplane and tossed it into the window of Politico. So, come on. That's why you hear that curse right there. She knows it. Now, listen to what May says next.
No.
Well, that's bullshit. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record articles by Punchbowl News, Political Playbook, Washington Post, all done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m. A solid 3 to 4 hours before this committee got your statement.
Without objection, so ordered.
Okay. Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Okay, you say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're just being completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
Chairman, I want to.
Come on.
We have to maintain decorum in this committee, no matter
have
how
you provided
upset we
any
get.
and all memos to this committee that we've asked you on July 15th? Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on
that. That is a no. You are being dishonest or lying. You're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We've asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Have you provided us all communications from the Secret Service related to that day and that rally? Have you provided this committee? We've asked for this information on July 15th. Have you provided any of this information that this committee has asked of the Secret Service? Any of it?
I'll have to get back to you.
Have you even read this letter that we sent you? Did you even read this?
Yes.
Okay. And you have said you don't know, you have no idea. The answer is no. We haven't gotten a single document or piece of information or data from you or your agency in related to the rally that we have asked you for.
Now, that went on and on and on, and then that was just a snippet of Nancy Mace laying into her, but it went all day long. And
do you have any other videos from any other people?
No, I don't.
So listen, let me talk about this one too. AOC grilled this person also, and she tore her up as well. So now you're talking about Nancy Mace to AOC, both letting her have it, and she was still refusing to resign at that point.
Yeah.
She was still refusing to resign. I don't know what happened. The point is, I think it would have stayed in the news. If she had not resigned, it would have stayed in the news, stayed in the news, stayed in the news. And those are free days. Those are free days that Trump is just gaining voters out of it.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that they eventually said to her, okay, listen, you got to go now.
Yeah.
You got to go because you're costing us the election. You got to go.
Yeah.
So
they
AOC,
wanted this out of the news as fast as possible.
They wanted it out of the news as soon as possible. And I'm so glad that she resigned, but she didn't go out in sufficient disgrace, in my opinion.
No.
When AOC is agreeing with the Republicans, because she was saying, in spite of what party is involved, this was an unmitigated disaster.
No.
That we had a president, and all these people basically is telling the whole world that they can shoot at us, right? Because you guys don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a lot of things that Cheeto was saying, before she had to go sit before the Oversight Committee. And one of the things she was saying was that the Secret Service agents...
Yeah, it was too sloped.
It was too sloped.
Dangerous.
That roof that Thomas Crooks was on, that he took this shot at President Trump. And then, Representative Eli Crane went to that roof. He went and stood on the roof himself. And here's that video.
That's too dangerous for the Secret Service to...
Yeah, I mean, you want to go back and look at this. I mean, this is a live shot that he did. I don't know. I don't know, John. I don't think that roof is very sloped. I don't even think if it was wet, it would be very dangerous for anyone to get on. I mean, come on.
I mean, there would have to be a waterfall near that created a flash flood.
Ice.
Yeah, and there would have to be ice on top of the roof already. And then maybe you fall. But come on.
Yeah.
Secret Service, I don't know if you're looking at all the videos that are coming out since that are making fun of the Secret Service, saying there's a new elite brigade and we're looking for like roof workers. We're looking for people who work on roofs to become the new elite branch of the Secret Service. I mean, they let our president get shot at.
Yeah.
That's they let our president
and that's
get shot
exactly
at.
the way it looks. Yep. I mean, you look at this, you look at the videos that amateurs have gone and done in this area. They failed spectacularly, and this should have never happened.
That's the only thing that's truly historical about the Biden administration is that they allowed the president, former president of the United States, future president of the United States, and past president of the United States to get shot in the ear. That's how close it came to a national tragedy, and this was already a tragedy, but one that would have been like the assassination of our president. Because they're so ineffective, so feckless, just so lost in everything. This is the same level of terrible administration that Mayor Booty has at the transportation, that Kamala has at the border, that Mayorkas has, that they all the Secretary of State, Blinken has. They're all the same level of disastrous outcomes.
Yeah.
That Yellen, same thing, all of them.
It's just terrible.
It's terrible. Historically bad.
Well, residents over in Milwaukee, where Kamala Harris launched her campaign, have a mixed reaction to her candidacy. There's a video. Let's listen to these folks.
Biden dropped out. Man, it was inevitable. All they had to do was have Biden as president, Harris as vice president. If he became incapacitated, Harris would be president. What the hell?
Actually, I wasn't surprised, but I knew it was coming. I personally felt that he wasn't more of a leader, but he was more of like a pawn, and they were using him as just as a figure.
I was excited. About 5 of my friends texted me immediately.
I was kind of relieved. I think that was the right move. He's clearly not all the way there mentally, and there needs to be some fresh blood in the White House.
This is a huge talking point right now. It's about all we talk about. I mean, we had friends in from Illinois the other night, and that's what we talked about for about an hour.
I work with a lot of political guys at work, and I overhear them around the lunch, and they all have their comments and stuff like that.
It is big news, but I don't enter conversations about it because everybody's so touchy regarding the subject.
If you could choose someone to be the Democratic nominee, who would you choose?
Boy, that's a tough one because I have not researched at all. Now I'm starting with Kamala and going on from there because I don't know anything.
Sometimes when I see these man on the street segments, it really makes me depressed. I mean, that lady at the end there, she's like, I haven't researched a thing. Yeah, and that's most voters, unfortunately. Yeah. That's most voters. They don't research. They don't know anything about these people. And, that's why you get the elected officials you get.
Yeah. No. This is horrendous. This is just, it's terrible. And, I mean, come on. What is there to think about at this stage? I don't understand what they're thinking, what they could be thinking. I hope that those are hardcore Democrat voters because that would be a disaster for the Democrat Party.
Yeah, I mean, do you want 8 years of this? I mean, really?
It could be, it's not 8. It would be 12.
Well,
right? Because we have 4 years of Biden to destroy the nation, then 4 years of Kamala Harris, and then another 4 years of Kamala Harris potentially.
Well,
if the voters are as stupid as they are to elect Kamala Harris, then, I mean, Jesus.
I would hope that if it ended up at 8 years, that we would get 8 years and that was it. But, like I said, these people don't research. They don't look at things through a realistic lens. They depend on the lamestream media, and they listen to everything they say. It's just really sad.
Yeah,
really sad. Anyway, all right. So J.D. Vance, he went and did his first solo rally in Ohio, his hometown, and he had a great reception. There's a little clip from his rally. Let's watch that real quick.
The idea of selecting the Democrat Party's nominee because George Soros and Barack Obama and a couple of elite Democrats got in a smoke-filled room and decided to throw Joe Biden overboard. That is not how it works. That is a threat to democracy, not the Republican Party, which is fighting for democracy every single day.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I don't know. I'm just glad that there's somebody running for president who has a beard. At least he knows he's a man, right?
Right.
Besides
There's no
Kamala
question.
Harris, right? Like,
Yeah.
Kamala Harris might have a beard. Michelle Obama might have a beard, but I'm talking about a real one.
Yeah.
So let me take a minute for a second. I got to take a break just to talk about this. I have a friend of mine here who just texted me, who's watching the show, obviously, and he told me to retire this shirt. I like this shirt. These are the kinds of interactions that I love. Okay, you know how you're not. Hey, at least he's not disagreeing with all the other things that I'm saying, right? He just doesn't like my wardrobe. This is the first time and last time I'll wear it, thanks to you.
I was kind of questioning it when I saw it. I was like, okay, well.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Nobody likes my shirt, which is what's funny is that normally it's my daughter that will say, "Hey, Doc, what are you doing? Take that off right away." My wife. I walked in the morning and my wife saw me and she's like, "What are you doing with that shirt?"
That looks like an old man shirt, man.
Hey, we were just talking about how old we were.
Yeah. A couple old men.
Yeah.
All right. So, we've got a caravan of 3,000 migrants hoping to cross the southern border before Trump becomes president.
Yeah, no kidding.
Man.
Come on.
Here's a picture of them. There they are on their way. They're trying to get here before Trump secures the border. And this caravan of potential border crossers from a dozen Latin American nations embarked on the trip from Mexico's southern border in hopes of seeking asylum in the U.S. before Trump could harden the border if he wins the White House for a second time. We are running the risk that permits to cross the border might be blocked, El Salvador migrant Miguel Salazar said.
And Trump has been talking a lot about El Salvador recently.
Yeah.
Now, he likes the president of El Salvador. They like each other. They're good friends. And he acknowledges that he's smart. The guy's a smart young leader, right? I think his name is Bukele, and that guy is taking control of El Salvador, right? Anyways, he's allowing a bunch of the prisoners to leave and come to the United States. And Trump calls him out. He might be his friend, but he's calling him out anyways and saying, hey, he's letting his prisoners come. I would do the same thing. Because you're ridding yourself of an economic problem, you're ridding yourself of a social problem, you're ridding yourself of the headache and the burden.
Yeah.
But they're sending them to the United States, and that becomes our burden. So we need to stop that and send these guys back.
But they come here because they know they can get in, and there's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
They'll be put up in a hotel in New York City or something.
A luxury hotel. They'll get a work permit. They'll go work somewhere where they don't speak English, and there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing that they can do. I mean, cleaning out the trash, which doesn't just because they don't speak English, I'm not saying they're bad people.
Right.
What I'm saying is that we have a country to take care of. And before we take care of the illegal aliens, our job is to take care of the American family.
Absolutely.
And the American family has to come first and foremost. They have to come first, they have to come second, they have to come third.
Yeah.
And if we can't deal with that, then we shouldn't be taking in more families, which will eventually become American families, right? And then those American families won't have a country left.
Yeah.
So what's the point of coming here and destroying this country because there's no other place in the world where they can be taken care of like that?
Well, if the Democrat Party's in power, they're going to let them in because these are voters. So,
well, they're one-generation voters because let's say that these illegal aliens, the group of picture of men and women that are coming in that we see right there, they're going to come into this country. They're going to have kids here. Those kids are going to be American. They're going to speak English. They're going to come to go to our schools. They're going to live our life. They're going to be Americans. Many of them will go and they'll serve their nation.
Yeah.
Right? And what's going to happen is they'll develop a love for their country being the United States, and then they're going to become Republicans.
Yeah.
Right? So they're going to lose those voters too, because all anyone has to do to vote Republican versus Democrat is to love their country. Yeah. And once they make that decision that they love their country, they're not willing to sacrifice their country, then you wouldn't vote for a Democrat anymore. So it's not a long-term fix for their problems. They're long-term, and those problems are many.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to get here because they're afraid that Trump's going to halt the booking of appointments, through this app to enter the U.S. legally by scheduling appointments at border posts where migrants can plead their case for asylum. And,
No, stay in Mexico.
Yeah, stay wherever it is you came from because, we're full. We're
stay
full
in
here.
Mexico.
All right, so squad member Cori Bush drops a whopper about her legislative record amid growing primary pressure. She's in trouble, John. It looks like all the squad members are in trouble, but here, Cori Bush, she's getting roasted after she publicly fibbed about her legislative record by grossly exaggerating the number of bills she passed. I brought home more than $2 billion and passed over 25 pieces of legislation, she said on X and Facebook on May 4th. But that's not quite true. She introduced 25 bills.
That's not true at all.
No, it's not true at all. She introduced 25 bills, one of which passed. Records filed with the House of Representatives show. The bills signed into law concern preventing the deportation of Rene Alexander Garcia Maldonado. Bush's measure was actually incorporated into a larger bill approved regarding immigration. So that was the first one. Wait a minute. What happened there? All right. We got dragged away. Anyway. All right. So she also proposed 11 resolutions, including one calling for an immediate de-escalation and ceasefire in Israel and occupied Palestine, and another calling for reparations for the enslavement of black people. None of the 11 made it out of committee. Congresswoman Cori Bush has not been honest with her constituents, said Mark Mellman, president of the Democratic Majority for Israel. First, the press caught her falsely claiming credit for money that's been coming to the district for decades before she got to Washington, and now we find she has been dishonest about the number of bills she's passed. This guy, Mellman, is backing Bush's rival, who in the August 6th Democratic primary, St. Louis prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell. So I guess that's who she's up against. And they're saying that it's a very close race. It's a tough primary fight. Recent polls showing a neck-and-neck race, or Bell winning by up as many as double digits. So, yeah, it looks like squad members are in trouble. I think people have realized that, these squad members get up there, they get together, and it's more about them than their constituents.
Well, it always has been, right? They consider themselves like political celebrities.
Yeah, political rock stars.
Yeah, that's. I look at Maxwell Frost. The child congressman. He loves to go out here and be concerts and sing and do whatever. Darren Soto plays the guitar in a band that he created, which there would be zero interest in a Maxwell. They actually have a band together. So
really,
yes, you got to go find it.
With Soto and Frost?
Yes, it's called I don't know, something. I don't remember what it's called. It's probably called I was gonna say something, a bunch of mean things. Never mind, we'll pass.
Pink Panthers?
I don't know, something like that. They have something in common, and it's not
Florida Democrats have adopted the Panther as their new mascot.
The Panthers, yeah. You know what? The point is that neither of these guys are interesting, and if they hadn't been elected, there would be zero opportunity for them to be celebrities, and that's what they see, right? So Democrats, that's their only interest, the entire side, and Democrat voters, that's all their interest, right? They're thinking about Lambos and celebrity. That's it. No. They don't think about any of the real things. They don't think about family. They're not thinking about protecting the people that they love. They're not thinking about service. They're not thinking about the things that make this country great. They're all thinking about the things that make their lives more fulfilling, which in the end doesn't make their lives more fulfilling. Only God does that.
That's right.
That's something that they haven't learned yet, apparently.
Yeah. And hopefully they will, but it might be too late by the time they do, because it looks like they're all in trouble, John. We already got one out, and this one's on the way. So
AOC has a competitor too.
Yeah.
Right? A young lady, I can't remember what her name is. Something. Maybe I'll look it up.
Yeah, I have to find that. But hopefully she's doing well against AOC. But, I think that's going to be a tougher one to get out.
Well,
tougher nut to crack.
Yeah. Literally.
All right. So to wrap it up, John, Governor Gavin Newsom, very strange, John. He has issued an executive order for the removal of the homeless encampments throughout California. Now, why would he be doing that now? He's had all these years to do it, right?
When was the last time he cleaned up California?
Maybe that's why. I don't know. Yeah.
The last time he ever had anything cleaned in California was when the Chinese president came.
That's right.
And so he cleaned up all the poop off of the San Francisco streets.
Yeah.
And
they took like a week, right?
It took like a week to clear the poop off of the streets of San Francisco. A week to clean poop. So at the cost of millions of dollars for taxpayers. And now he's doing it for this. For a future Chinese president, Kamala Harris. So Kamala Harris will absolutely, she would love to be the president of China.
And you wonder,
if
John,
she knew where China
I don't
was.
know if she sent vetting materials to him.
I don't know. I don't think he was on the list.
Okay.
But
Well, I mean, that
be.
could be the wild cards. They said there's a wild card. It could be him. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if she picked him, since they know each other very well. They're both from California. Although I just see that being a disastrous ticket for America. If, I would hope that Americans would be smart enough not to vote for these two if this is the case. But anyway.
Oh my God, what a nightmare.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
So Newsom issued an executive order Thursday for the removal of homeless encampments in his state. Newsom's order would direct state agencies on how to remove the thousands of tents and makeshift shelters across the state that line freeways, clutter shopping center parking lots, and fill city parks. The order makes clear that the decision to remove the encampments remains in the hands of local authorities. Now, they're saying that this is because of something that came down over the summer from the U.S. Supreme Court, where it said that municipalities can outlaw sleeping out in public. So he said, we must act with urgency to address dangerous encampments. It's funny that he would issue this statement and do this now, when he's had all these years to do it before.
Yeah, he's got it. God, man, he never did it while he was mayor of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done it yet as governor of California. And then all of a sudden,
yeah,
right? Like this happens, and now he's trying to, make people not hate him in his own state. So I mean,
something stinks, John.
Yeah.
And it's not the poop on the city streets.
Yeah. It might be.
It could be. It could be. It's probably back.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But anyway. All right, John. So that's the show. We wrapped it up in 49 minutes. Can you believe that?
Hey, man. We had we went through it quick. There's a lot to talk about. There's another thing I would follow if you have a choice, since we have a minute.
Yeah.
Alex Newman, who's a journalist, award-winning journalist. The guy puts out tremendous information. His name is Alex Newman, and his Twitter handle is Alex Newman _JOU, as in journalism, JOU. Alex Newman, ALEXNEWMAN _JOU. And he had put out a tweet recently, and he's asking this question. Why was the former director of the CIA thanking his God for the deep state's effort to take out real Donald Trump?
Wow.
Has this man been questioned yet? Probably a good idea to dust this off and share with investigators. And then he tagged the FBI and Secret Service. So, I mean, it's incredible. When we talk about the deep state, that's really what's going on here. And we have yet to see it. And if they think, just by Cheatles' resignation, that we're going to rest on what happened there, what was the lapse of security on the likely winner of the next presidential election, that's not going to happen. That's not going to cover it. We need answers.
Yeah.
And we need answers now. And
why did Thomas Crooks have 3 offshore bank accounts?
Yeah, that totaled $1.5 million, if that's true. We're finding out all this information, and we want to know the truth. And we want to see justice in this situation. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow night we have incredible Florida show, Unsanctioned Florida. Unsanctioned Florida, we will update you on what's going on with the Mike Horner case. That is a big one, right? We're going to talk about that. We'll also release pictures of the actual aftermath of that case. So I'll release some pictures. You guys will see what happened. We'll talk a little bit about that. So if you guys want to hear about what happened with Mike Horner, stay tuned. Tomorrow, Unsanctioned Florida. Wait for us then. So thank you. God bless you. As always, please like and share the show. We love you. Look forward to seeing and hearing from you.